I'm coming out with this alert on Thursday to give you as much time as possible if you have any stock market plans. As such, I will not be coming out with Friday's video. You'll next hear me on Saturday's stock market update. And stocks are up, and all it took was a few trillion dollars. Oil is up, and all it took was the threat of war. Coronavirus cases are up, coronavirus deaths are up, and Gilead's drug is dead on arrival. Over 26 million Americans are out of work and have now filed for unemployment benefits in the last 5 weeks. And how crazy is this? Stocks have never dropped when more than 3 million people have applied for unemployment. Well, the reason I'm coming out with this alert is because the VIX, or the fear factor, is basing. And if it bases, there's a decent probability that we may get that second spike in the VIX that I spoke about. If you remember, the VIX is a funny kind of phenom in that after the initial shock, there often is an after-quake following some kind of delay. Well, that time may be coming closer, so be cautious as we may have another stock market sell-off. So, let's take a look. Let's go straight here to the VIX, and I'm using stockcharts.com because this is not available on our typical charts. And as you can see, the bottom here in mid-February rose, spiked up here to this point at the same time that the stock market collapsed. Now, subsequent that mid-March top, the VIX has been calming down, coming down to these levels here, but this still is in the upper 30s and the low 40s. That is still relatively high. And as you can see, it looks like it was starting to base here, had a slight run that got reflected back down here, and I think the probability is that it'll try to base once again, but this next move up, if there is one, I think it's going to be successful. And if it is successful, then that means the stock market's going to head down. You can look here. The fast line on the Mac came down here, started to base, moving on up. It came up, got reflected back down, but it's very close to that slow line. So soon enough, I think it's going to go through and make that upward move. Once again, if the VIX makes an upward move, the stock market makes a downward move. So let's go ahead and take a quick look at our charts of the S&P. And so now we're looking at the SPY, which is the Spider's S&P 500. This is the 6-month daily. Now, this is the opposite or mirror image of the VIX. Here's the top here, coming off of that bottom here. So, with the VIX calming down, then that allows the stock market to head up. But the stock market hit that peak there. With the VIX trying to move up through, then the market came down, got reflected back to this point here. So I think we're in a topping process here. At least that's what the probabilities tell me. Here into the Mac, you can see also from that bottom, we came up here, and it looks like a topping process. Now, I'm not sure exactly when the stock market may head down. It may take into next week, perhaps the week after. But you want to be cautious here within the next week or two, simply because if the stock market heads down, you want to cover yourself and you want to be ready if you have any dry powder to make more purchases. So I would hold off any purchases now in the short term and watch and see how this pattern evolves. You can see here in the histogram, things are definitely topping, heading on down. As well, the RSI, the stochastics, and then the Williams. Big topping process here. So back on up to the price chart. Once again, simply be cautious. I think better purchase opportunities are coming up if you're patient. And for today, that's ChewDog Charts. Thank you.